Talk about just cold-blooded. The way it happens.
That is actor Brian Konowal, best known as Clyde on Yellowstone prequel 1923. And if you know why we're here, you know why we're here. No spoilers yet, but Clyde just had a huge scene. And I'll be honest, I'm still a little shaky. You too? Comment below if you think this was the most surprising Yellowstone franchise death of all time. Except, of course, if you haven't watched episode 6, in which case just move it along and come back later, because a huge spoiler is coming. I'm not going to show you the scene, but subscribers know that on Mondays we do episode recap videos, and during our episode 6 recap, we'll go deep on what happened with Clyde, what went wrong for Alex as she tries to get to Montana, and the 3, 4, 5, 6 other deaths from last week. For a series that was taking forever, they sure caught up. This video is only going to include part of the interview with Brian. The full 30 minutes will be part of Tuesday's Dutton Rules audio podcast. Links below.
Tim did not like the cold.
I would.
It's so cold. So cold out here. I said, yeah, Tim, we're on the side of a mountain. But it's just ridiculously cold.
Tap subscribe and hit the bell to get a notification for those videos. No more stalling. Here is Brian Konowal taking us deep inside his scene from 1923 Season 2, Episode 6. And joining me now on the Dutton Rules podcast, Brian Konowal, the dirty, thieving scoundrel Brian Konowal. I'm sorry. I'm taking what happened last night on 1923 and I'm making it personal. I shouldn't do that. I'm just affected by what happened.
I understand. Clyde is a rascal. No doubt about it.
Give me your reaction when you saw that in the script.
When I saw what a dirty, conniving
back
guy.
Up and set up. So last night, episode 6 of 1923, we find Clive kills Jack Dutton. That's kind of the big spoiler. When you saw that in the script, your response to that?
I immediately shouted and was like, called for my wife. I said, oh my God, Heather, you're under, lock and key information. Look at this. I mean, it's huge. Jack's a huge character. So I'm completely honored to be the guy who gets to do him in. It was awesome.
I mean, things tend to not go well with people who kill the Duttons. I've kind of thought you were a marked man really from the get-go. Once we found out you were a bit of a turncoat, I figured, okay, this is a great character, fun to watch.
Yeah,
this is going to catch up to him at some point in time.
I think Clyde is he's a smart guy though. He's definitely caught in a bad place, but I mean, he's a survivor, so he's not afraid to get his hands dirty for sure. And if you go back to season 1, you can see that he's a thinker too. Originally he's like, we got to get out of here. We got to get out of the state, and Banner's not having it. So I think Clyde decides he's all in and he's going to, do whatever it takes.
This all got me kind of rethinking what happened in season 1. In a little bit, I want to ask you kind of about how you approached, especially that scene where you sign up for the Livestock Agency with Kara, because it's really interesting in retrospect. But first, take us right into the scene with Darren Mann, who plays Jack Dutton.
Yeah. His
fatal scene. Kind of take us through the filming of that scene. Was there anything that happened that was remarkable? Was it a difficult scene to shoot?
It wasn't easy. We got delayed once because we got a lot of weather. It was pouring rain and then it snowed, and because of the rain, we had to make snow. And I'm riding in, I ride in on a horse, and we're doing a full lope on the horse. So, you've got a vehicle with a personality. So yeah. And we had there's gear everywhere, cameras. So we had a lane. We're sort of on this road. So you had to ride in, control the horse, and then proceed to do the scene. So right. That was a challenge. I mean, I'm okay on a horse now. I'm getting all right. But just right. To do that and do the acting, and then, when we fire blanks, you don't know what the horse is going to do. So we prep them for that. And sure enough, I think Darren's horse bucked pretty huge the first time. And we have great people in place for safety and all that. And, the advisors and stunt guys, Jason Rodriguez, the guy who doubles me is a guy named Tad, who's just a legendary horseman from the world of rodeo. And, he was there, Tad Griffith. And so he was there, kind of helping and making sure everything went well. Because my job is to just get in there and really do the scene well.
Right.
But the great part about having the training was it went pretty smooth. All with all the factors considering, my horse didn't give me any trouble controlling him while you do the scene. So as an actor, it just exhilarating scene to do, just awesome.
Is there a certain weight to a scene like that too, especially maybe more so on Darren's side, but I imagine you catch a whiff of it as well. I mean, a final scene like that, is there a heaviness that you're sort of aware of as you're filming?
I was when I did a week in Texas, and when I ran into Darren, and he was immediately like, "Oh, you kill me," and I was like, "I'm sorry, it's Taylor. Taylor writes it,"
Yeah.
but for sure, because he's a beloved character. So hopefully, if I do my job right, everyone will despise Clyde even more than they do.
Yeah, that's 100% true.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, talk about just cold-blooded. The way it happens, Darren, his character, Jack's such a great hero, and he's itching to fight, and he's constantly wanting to go to battle for the family, and here Clyde just takes him out without a peep. He doesn't even get to draw his gun. So,
where do you go to act in a scene like that? I mean, I've known you 4.5 minutes, and you're smiling. You seem like a good jovial dude. Like what dark space do you sort of have to sort of go through that scene convincingly?
You do a little actor stuff and just try to put yourself in the mindset of what a sociopath would do. Because I think Clyde is, there was some question earlier on as you're getting the scripts. Some people do a lot of backstory, this or that, and you're playing the scenes you get. And I thought it was clear that this season, if there was any question about Clyde, full-blown psychopath, you know what I mean? So I just thought, I went into it thinking he's looking forward to it. I mean, he wants this. For whatever position he's been put in by this whole range war, Clyde's going to come out on top, is sort of the attitude. Yeah.
Okay, so I think your first major scene was probably opposite Helen Mirren and Robert Patrick, where you're signing up to be a livestock agent. And that's a great scene because we don't find out until, well, I guess we did know at that time, but I guess it didn't click to me a little bit later that you're going to be sort of a double agent. So what's your sort of approach there? You have this sort of devious side, but you come across so mild-mannered and frankly very likable during that scene.
Well, in the script, it was great. First, I got the scene, and again, kind of like the Darren reaction, I called my wife right away. I was in Montana. I said, "Oh my God, I'm going to do a huge scene with Helen Mirren and Robert Patrick, and most of it's me talking." So, that was like, all right, it's this is the big moment. But it was strange because Clyde being the double agent, I think in the script it said he's charming, and I believe that Harrison mentions that to Kara. Jacob mentions it to Kara in an episode before somewhere. He says, "Watch out for the charming ones." Right. So I tried to play it likable. I think that if you're asking me, I think they went in there with a plan. Make sure you get hired as a livestock agent. This is critical to us infiltrating the Dutton clan. So, I tried to make him a quasi-jovial guy for that.
Yeah, and you can almost kind of see your character sort of, because the livestock agent that gets thrown out of the room before you is the opposite of chivalrous and polite and charming.
Yes.
He's rude. So it's almost like in the moment that sort of informs your character's decisions to be yes, ma'am, and very, and you have a great accent.
Thank you. I
series,
appreciate it.
But especially in that scene. Was that difficult to sort of perfect?
Well, I've been working on accents. I have a fantastic coach, Jack Wallace, who's actually a descendant of William Wallace. So,
Nice.
Yeah, I forget how many generations, but it's great. And he's from the UK, also a redhead, which made me very comfortable. So we had actually been working together before I had the audition for 1923. When you look like a leprechaun, you've got to have a Scottish, you've got to have an Irish,
Sure.
So
it's just like being a carpenter and having a hammer.
Right. It's got to be in the toolbox for sure. So so I came in with the advantage of having done it. I'd done it on stage as well. I think more in a funny leprechaun. We've done different accents, doing improv and stuff like that over the years. So, accents I enjoy. But definitely challenging. I mean, if you're doing an hour at a time and working on it, you break it all down sort of word by word until you start doing full paragraphs. And
something that just occurs to me about that scene is Jack's also in the room. And
Jack's
as you leave, he
Jack's
gives you a
in the
little bit of
room.
a dirty look that I didn't understand at the time. I don't know if his die had been cast at that point in Taylor Sheridan's mind, like if he knew you two were going to come back together again. But he stink eyes you a little bit on your way out the door.
He does. I don't know. That's the brilliance of Taylor's writing, because he and they did a great edit where there's just one little look of Helen just sort of, just as one of these, looks at Clyde. They both have their doubts. I think Jack had seen, recognized him from one of the livestock meetings or something.
That's right. That's what it was.
Yeah, but what was cool was they didn't reveal me in any of those.
No.
It's understood that I'm there, but yeah, that scene with that. That's definitely a career highlight. Looking across the table at Helen Mirren and Robert Patrick, and Robert, we'd been having breakfast and coffee together for several weeks because we were up in Montana for like 3 months, and the scene's coming up, and we're reading the scripts, and we're having coffee, and he goes, tomorrow's the big scene, kid, huh? Don't mess it up. You're playing with the big boys tomorrow. I was like, great, thanks, Robert. Awesome.
Great talk. Thanks, Bob.
Yeah. He's the best. I love that guy.
Again, find the full Dutton Rules podcast interview with Brian on Tuesday, April 1st, wherever you podcast, and tap subscribe for more exclusive Yellowstone universe insights, analysis, and cast interviews, like this one that my Dutton Rules podcast co-host Addison Hager did with Julia Schlafer. I'm Billy Dukes for Taste of Country. Thanks for watching, and thanks for subscribing.